see if you're missing anybody. It is 7:30. I'm calling this meeting of July the 16th to order of the Williamson County Board of Adjustments Appeals. And we will first start the roll call vote, and we'll respond by saying if you can hear. And identify yourself. And this is Ronald Crutcher, Chairman. And as far as I know, I can hear. We have Mr. Hughes.
Yes,
Yeah.
Chairman, this is Josh Hughes, and I'm able to hear everyone.
Mr. Lee.
This is John Lee, and I'm able to hear everyone.
Mr. Joe. It appears that right now we're missing Mr. Joe. Mr. Adams.
This is Glenn Adams, and I'm able to hear everyone.
Okay. We have 4 out of the 5 members. We have a quorum, and we will we'll pick up. Joel comes online. Okay. We are here to hear the appeals of those builders that are meeting the application of the impact fee. This time I will turn the meeting over to the staff attorney, Mr. Bobby, to lead us through the
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Before we start, I would like to have the minutes reflect that the board finds it necessary to protect the health, safety, and welfare of the public, and in accordance with Executive Orders number 16 and 34, the Adjustment Appeals Board will meet electronically to hear appeals concerning the Williamson County Education Impact Fee. A recording of the meeting will be available following the meeting. I do want to remind everyone that each vote will be by roll call. Chairman will call your names, at which time you will provide your vote.
This conference is no longer being recorded. This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. I do remind everyone that prior to making a motion or second or asking a question or making a comment, please identify yourself. I do want the record to reflect that adequate public notice was given both to the public and to the applicants. Without objection, we will hear Carbine and Associates, Crescent Homes, Reed's Premier Homes, Ryan Homes, and the Jones Company. Like the minutes reflect that no additional documentation has been provided by any of the appellants. First argument the appellants make is that they have obtained vested rights under the Vested Rights Act of 2014, so the lots at issue would not be subject to the impact fee. The Vested Rights Act provides that should a developer receive preliminary plat approval from the local authority, the development standards in place at that time remain the same through the course of the development of that property. However, it is staff's stance that the impact fee is not a development standard or development regulation and has nothing to do with the actual development of the property. Development standards in the Act are defined as regulations concerning local stormwater requirements, local construction standards, for buildings, streets, alleys, curbs, sidewalks, and lot sizes. The impact fee is a revenue stream and has nothing to do with the actual development of the property, and actually the property can be developed without ever having to pay the impact fee. The county also maintains that should the board find that the impact fees of development regulation trigger invested property rights, we maintain that the applicant has provided no evidence that it received any approvals from the planning department or planning commission for the properties at issue prior to the adoption and implementation of the education impact fee. The appellant's second argument is that the impact fee is required to be calculated on each subdivision, and that the proceeds received from that particular subdivision is required to be used on educational capital projects for that specific development. The Private Act does not require the county to define specific zones to accommodate each subdivision. In fact, the Private Act grants the county legislative body broad power to implement an impact fee system. The county's legislative body determined that 2 zones were needed, one inside the FSD and one outside the FSD. And the reason for that is that the FSD only serves K through 8, while outside of it serves K through 12. County also maintains that there is no specific requirement that the proceeds be required to be paid by that subdivision. And in fact, the county legislative body determined that one school needed to be built in one area of the county will affect the other areas. So there is no requirement to have specific zones for each specific subdivision. For these reasons, Mr. Chairman, we ask for these appeals be denied.
Thank you, Mr. Cook. You've heard the staff's position and their recommendation that the appeals be denied. Are there any questions from or comments from any of the board members?
Mr. Chairman, I will ask if there's any appellants that are on the line. Hearing none, go ahead.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr.
I'm sorry
Chairman,
to interrupt, but I believe Mr. Choate has joined us. You might want to confirm he can hear us.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this is Kenneth Choate. I can hear everyone.
Good. We have a full board. Mr. Schultz, were you able to hear the presentation by Mr. Cook?
Yes, sir. I was on and here before he started. I got all of it.
Okay. All right. You've heard the staff position. Are there any questions or comments?
Mr. Chairman, this is Glenn Adams, and I'd like to go ahead and make a motion that we deny.
I'll second that motion. This is Josh Hughes. I'll second that motion.
Proper motion has been made and seconded. Are there any questions, comments before we vote? We will be taking voice vote. Identify yourself and give us your vote. I will again, Ronald Crutcher, Chairman, and I vote for the motion, which is Mr. Adams.
This is Glenn Adams, and I vote to deny.
Mr. Schultz,
This is Kenneth Choate. I vote for the motion to deny.
all right, Mr. Hughes,
This is Josh Hughes. I vote for the motion to deny.
all right, all of the board members have voted. The vote is unanimous.
This is John Lee, and I vote for the motion to deny.
Okay. Sorry about that, John. And now we are unanimous, and the motion passes, which is to deny all of the appeals that Mr. Cook referenced.
Mr. Chairman, before we hear the last appeal, we do need to approve the minutes. Kind of skipped over that part.
You're right, okay. The minutes were electronically mailed to you earlier in the week. I assume that you've had an opportunity to look at them. Are there any questions, comments, or corrections to the minute?
Mr. Chairman, Glenn Adams, I'll make a motion. We approve the minutes as presented.
This
Motion,
is John Lee. I second that motion.
motion been made and seconded. Voice vote. Mr. Crutcher, and I vote for the motion to approve the minutes. Mr. Hughes,
This is Josh Hughes. I vote to approve the minutes.
Mr. Lee,
This is John Lee. I vote to approve the minutes.
Joe,
It's Kenneth Choate. I vote for the approval of the minutes.
Mr. Adams,
It's Glenn Adams, and I vote to approve the minutes.
the minutes are approved. Back to you, Mr. Cook.
Mr. Chairman, the last appeal we have for you today is from Celebration Homes. Celebration Homes has failed to provide any explanation, nor did they provide any documentation explaining or supporting their stance. While they have never provided any explanation on any of their appeals, the county maintains that we did apply the impact fee in accordance with the law, and that we did create the impact fee in accordance with the private act. For these reasons, Mr. Chairman, we ask for this appeal be denied. I will ask if there's anyone present for the appellant. Hearing nobody, go ahead, Mr. Chairman.
You've heard the staff's position on this appeal. Are there any questions or comments? Hearing none, we will have a voice vote. This is Ronald Crutcher, and I vote for, I gotta back up. Do we have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, it's Kenneth Choate. I'll make a motion to deny the appeal.
This is Josh Hughes. I'll second that motion.
Okay, now, are there any comments, questions on the motion? Proper motion's been made and seconded. We will do a roll call vote, beginning with myself, Ronald Crutcher, and I vote for the motion to deny the appeal. Lee. Are you with us, Mr. Lee?
Yes, I'm sorry. I didn't hear you calling. This is John Lee. I vote for the motion to deny the appeal.
Mr. Adams?
This is Glenn Adams, and I vote for the motion to deny the appeal.
Mr. Hughes?
This is Josh Hughes. I vote for the motion to deny.
Mr. Shaw?
This is Kenneth Choate. I vote for the motion to deny the appeal.
All the members have voted. The vote is unanimous to deny the appeal. The appeal is denied. Is there any other, are there any statements, comments, or other business to come before the vote?
Mr. Chairman, that's all the appeals we have today.
Chairman Crutcher, this is Joe Horn. I just wanted to inform the board that we will be meeting again on Thursday, July 30th at 7:30, and we'll be using the same format. And you'll be getting your meeting information as soon as I can put it together. Thank you very much.
All right. I thank all of you for being here. There being no further business, I would entertain a motion to adjourn. Hey, what I can.
Josh Hughes. Go ahead.
All right, I make the motion that we adjourn. we'll just take a overall voice vote on that. No notification. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
See you in 2 weeks.